You know, every time you say something negative about the way that a child looks, it's like you're putting a tattoo on them. Uh, should I say an invisible tattoo on them? If you say they're ugly, that you're putting a tattoo. If you say your teeth are crooked, you're putting a tattoo. Whatever negative comment you say on a child, you're putting a stamp on them. And one day they're going to look down at their body, and all that they will see will be those comments that you said to them. But yeah, let's get to today's video. Hi everybody, Sanibonani. Welcome to my channel. Igama lami nguNtando Mdletshe, and on this channel normally siyasifunde iy'ncwadi zethu zesiZulu bese siza la soyi-discussa le y'ncwadi esisuke sizifundile, sizixoxela phela laba abasuke bengenaso isikhathi sokuthi bayifunde nalaba abanqenayo ukuthi bazifunde. So but-ke today it's a special day. We do not have a story namhlanje. We do have a story, but it's my it's my life story. Mhlawumbe ngelinye ilanga ngiyosibhala, kodwa ke namhlanje nginixoxela sona. Today is a special day. It's my birthday. So happy birthday to me. Ngiphuza icoke yabo emnyama kulona iwayini. You have to make do with what you have. So yes, happy birthday to me. But akuyona birthday yami kuphela, it's my birthday and it's my son Amandla's birthday. So happy birthday to me and my son. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, I gave birth 15 years ago. I gave birth on my birthday. Actually, I gave birth in a C-section, but it was planned for the following day, which was the 23rd, but I went into labor on the 21st, and then the doctor didn't have an option but to operate on the 22nd, so he was born on my birthday. So happy birthday to me and him. So uthe ufuna ukuyodla pizza today, so we're getting ready to go and eat pizza. So I'm going to take him out ukuthi ayodla pizza. Angazi-ke yena what plans he has for my birthday. So yeah, I'm very grateful ukuthi ngize ngifike la ngikhona in my life. 42 years I've lived, for 42 years. That is a very long time. That is a very long time. How do 40s feel? You know, like teenagehood, you're trying to find yourself. You're trying to find yourself in teenagehood. There's a lot of confusion during teenagehood. I'm at 20s, angazi. It's like life gets even more confusing because I'm at 20s, it's like you're an adult now. So umhlaba ulindele ukuthi you must know now what you're doing, you must have a direction in your life. But a lot of the times usuke ungakabi nayo direction in your 20s, so it's a very confusing time. So kunama expectations amaningi on you, and then ufeeling ngathi mhlawumbe kwesinye isikhathi ufeeling ngathi you're not there yet. And then ama-30s, it's like most of my 20s you feel like ama-30s it's gonna make you feel old. So ngama-30s kune-pressure yokuthi things that you didn't achieve ngama-20s, you should do them ngama-30s. Sometimes it doesn't happen. So all of these years, it feels like you're trying to find yourself. Ngathi nje, I was imagining wearing, it's like wearing a skin. Imagine having a skin over you, but it doesn't really necessarily fit you. So all of these years you're trying to fit it, and it almost fits you, and but not really comfortable. But in your 40s, I feel like that's where you sit on it, and you can feel it almost settling in your body, and you feel like it fits. And I think your 40s, for me, iminyaka where I'm very good to myself, in a sense that I can look back at my mistakes and be okay with them. I can look back at things that I wanted to do that I never did and be okay with that. I'm okay with my life as it is right now. Of course, I have dreams and I have things that I still want to do. but I'm not depressed about things that haven't happened empilweni. So I'm okay. So happy birthday to me. I hope you join me on this video. You need just a little bit of background about my childhood. This video is meant if you are a mother that has abantwana sebekhulile, grown up kids abangasarely kuwena. This video is meant to just say to you, you know what, job well done. We know what you did the best that you could, and yeah, we are okay with you and we love you, and job well done on your kids if they are grown. And if they have things in zako that they always say kahle, but just know ukuthi you still did the best that you could, and all that you didn't do perfect in raising your kids, it's forgiven. And if you're a mother like me who are still raising ingane esasencane, it's also to say to you, you know, you are doing a good job, but also to just know that even when you've done the best that you can, ingane zakho mayikhula, they're going to have things, because impilo it's their own journey. Every child has their own journey. So as parents, siyabasiza to walk their journeys. However, they have to experience life on their own, and they have to go through things. We can't prevent them from going through things. So even us, when our kids are adults, they're going to get to a point where, it's hot. They're going to get to a point where complaints about the way that you raise them, but just know that it doesn't mean that you were a bad mom. It just means that it was their journey now to experience their life. So let me tell you about my childhood. It's not dramatic, but it's if you're a parent, you might maybe learn something. So I was born ngizalelwe eThekwini eMzinyathi baye bathi ngazalelwa esibhedlela saseKhanyeni. Just recently my other aunt uMama kaJali, who is akayena usisikama, but bawomangcobo babili, so sikhule as if usisikama wami, so more like umama as other mother. You know, masikhula thina, that thing of umntwana ukhuliswa by a village really was really relevant. So many times we were left with my siblings kaJali, uma ehambile ngekho, uhlale khona whole day, udle khona, uzugeze khona, uzulanda ntambama. So that thing of raising children by like the village helping to raise your children was there when we were growing up. So I was born Mzinyathi. I was born esibhedlela saseKhanyeni. I don't even know that hospital, honestly. Angikaze ngiye as an adult. Angazi noma sisakhona. But I was born there. I was born by two parents who I choose to believe were in love because I don't have a long experience being nabo boba two for a long time, because my father wadlula emhlabeni very early on in my life. Angisazi story sabo of them falling in love. Angisazi story sabo of their marriage or wedding. I don't even know what bashado umshado njani, but I just know when I was born they were married and beslala kithi ke ekhaya. And I'm the fourth of six siblings. So I'm like the middle child, not just the middle child, I'm the middle, you know. So imagine this, because I'm the fourth child, mantombazane awu 5 and 1 boy. Imagine this. And you know, back then it was very important ukuthi umama abe nengane yomfana. That was very important ukuthi angazi noma pressure bebezifakela yona yini abazali, or it was umphakathi also our societies or our families, but yeah, qala bekuyinto enkulu ukuthi you have to have umntwana womfana. And I think as izinto they're going to be a memory, but I'm not going to be say I'm 100% about it, because I'm talking about my memories, a childhood, so I might mix things up. But I think I do remember my saying one day, because I've always thought ukuthi lapha we pressure yokuba semshadweni yini ukuthi afune ukuthola umntwana womfana. But I think I remember her one saying ukuthi yazi njalo, it was more me who kwakuyena wayefuna kakhulu umntwana womfana even more than ubaba. So I'm trusting ukuthi that is a memory, that is something ukuthi uma wake wayisho. So yeah, I guess wayefuna umntwana womfana. But imagine this, when you want umntwana womfana and then uthola umntwana wentombazane. I mean, I imagine ukuthi bebe young couple, and my figure, my older sister, it was celebrated. I mean, umntwana wokuqala, whether it's a girl or a boy, it's just as exciting, you know. I figure they're all happy, and then I think there's a 2 year difference between my two older sisters, and then 2 years later another child comes, and you think it's going to be a boy, and it's another child, and you're like, I know, you know, we're still young, we're still going to lots of chances ukuthi simthole umntwana womfana. And then the third one comes maybe 2 or 3 years later, another one comes, and it's a girl again, and you're like, ntombazane futhi, okay. Okay, and then yeah, you like, yeah, now, you know, there's 3, there's gonna be a boy, maybe 2 boys, and then we'll be done, you know. But then yeah, another one comes, and it's a girl, and that is me. You know, feel like excitement, even though you are excited every time you have a child, you are excited. But if you are expecting this and you get that, I imagine, it's my imagination, this is not something that abazali bami have said, it's my imagination, that the excitement yokuthi uthola intombazane again, yeah. So every time you are excited, but not like the first one, and not like the second one, and not like the third one, and I'm the fourth. So those are the conditions in which I was born. So I was born in October of 1979, October 22, 1979. And yeah, and then after me, 2 years later, because I was born in 1979, in 1982, my little sister came. And then my brother came in 1985, and then there's 6 of us at home. So, but yeah, that's where I grew. That's where I am in the line of siblings, Ekaya. That's where I grew up. I'm right in the middle. And my growing up, my little sister. When my little sister came, I mean, I must have been okay. I was 2. Obviously, I was 2 years old when my little sister came, and then my my little sister was a show baby, like wengane show, like becula dancer belengane like uthi makuvakasha abantu, you know, leyo ngane leyo ibiza ukuthi uzodansa ube phaphile. So imagine ukuthi bengingane, that probably still needed, not even wanted, needed attention and care from their parents. But then now there's another baby, and then when she grows up, she gets that as extra attention because of her personality. Okay. And then she was born in 1982, 83, 84, 85. My brother came. I always think of ukuzalwa kukabhuti wami, my younger brother, as almost like the coming of Jesus. I don't know how it will be like when Jesus comes back, but our family got a taste of it when my brother was born. It was that big of a deal when my brother was born. Mind you, I was young. I think I was like 6 years old when he was born. So, bringing and now even the idea that my mother is pregnant, number one, because back then no one would have a conversation with you. Would say your mom is going to have another baby. First, I didn't know my little sister was coming, but I think I was very young, fairly then. But now I'm like, I probably would have understood that conversation, but I don't think anybody had that conversation with me. And then I just knew it was a special mark, and then there were talks about her coming home, and she had a baby boy. And because wonke umuntu be excited about umntwana womfana finally coming home, it was so I understood, because this is an exciting thing. As a child, I understood, okay, this is an exciting thing. Kunomntwana womfana. Mind you, in our family, vele, not just my immediate family, like my mom and dad. Just our extended family, there's very few males in Ghanaian. My grandchildren, there's very few boys. Like what, 4, you know? So available anyway in the family. But then in our family was even more, because he was like right at the end, when they almost thinking of giving up in having abantwana, and then Waville. So it was a big thing. Like family, extended family, neighbors, wonke umuntu ube excited about this child. I don't know, my brother has maybe like 5 names awaqanjwa. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but unamagama amaningi, meaningful names awaqanjwa when he came into this world. It was a celebration when he came home. Baba besakhona ke at the time, obviously kwahlatshwa ekhaya, amaZulu ayazi, kwahlatshwa kwaba bekungathi umsebenzi, kwahlatshwa isikabhu, imbuzi, kwangazi noma kwagaya utshwala. I just remember it looking like kunomsebenzi endlini. They slaughtered laba banga understand, they slaughtered ilokhuzana, isikabhu, is it a sheep? Isikabhu. And you know, kwaba a celebration. It was a big thing ukufika kabhuti wami. So everyone understood ukuthi this was like the most important person in our lives, in everybody's life. And as umntwana ukuba kuleyo position as umntwana, having to understood ukuthi I'm not that important, and nobody explaining to you to why you are not as important as that person or that person. And you know, or develop that feeling of being unimportant or being forgotten. And it wasn't ukuthi they were not taking care of me ekhaya. I mean, ingane bezinakekelwa, but it was like individual attention, individual ukuthi uzonakekelwa individually. Bekupheka okuphakelwa ingane, bekwamanzi ingane egeze, you know, bekuwashelwa ingane, you know, but ukuthi uzothola your individual, ukuthi mhlawumbe khona umuntu who will pay attention to your individual emotional needs as a child. Into ebinjalo ibingekho, and I guess in most families vele bekunjalo ukuthi beyingekho leyo nto ukuthi individual, especially ingane maziningi elokhuzeni ekhaya. So as a child, you're always looking for something ezokwenza ukuthi ufeel ukuthi you are seen, and ezokwenza ufeel ukuthi someone recognizes that you're here too and that you are important too. So I remember ukuthi benginokwenza into yokuthi mengabe ngithunywa esitolo, I would run, you know, ekhaya makuthunywa mina, so like benginalento ukuthi ngigijima, and I would be so happy mase ngingconya mase ngibuyile ukuthi yo akeve gijima maye, akeve sheshe ukubuya maye esitolo. Khona labo bethi mabethunywa esitolo umuntu ahambe, aze kuze kuthunywa omunye ukuthi hambe yombheka. So I think izinto enjalo were my attempt to wanna be acknowledged, ukuthi I'm here too, you know, like I'm important too. Do you remember me? Do you remember that I'm here? So but there were instances where as umntwana mawukhula vele in a big family, I think that this should happen to anybody, unless abazali they really know how to pay attention individual to each child. Noma ngabaningi kangakanani, you feel that ukuthi even though it's not like lo mbuzo ubuza actively like, am I remembered, am I loved, am I important, but at the back of your mind those are always why identify ukuthi iloyo mbuzo oyibuzayo, but they are there, those questions ukuthi ngibalulekile in mina njengomntwana. I remember I have 2 instances where I feel like it helped to develop that feeling yokuthi, you know what, lana angibalulekile. I don't think ukuthi bangikhumbula ukuthi ngikhona. I remember once, obviously bekuthi makuyintamba ngikuthela amanzi okugeza, but sometimes udoje njena and then uzuzigezele late. So I remember this one time sisihleli the whole family, you know that time sekuhleliwe the whole family sekuyazixoxelwa nje kumnandi after supper. And back then bekhanyiswa ngamakhandlela, so ugesi bengakhanyisa ukuthi bha kubona ukuthi ungcolile, kade sidlala lapha singcolile, ungakuthi bha ubonakala ukuthi hey waze wangcola. So I was sitting nami sihleli lana kuyaxoxa and stuff, then I remember ukuthi angigezile, you know, angigezile. And as a child I really liked ukuba clean, but obviously as umntwana ngisho ukuthi uyakuthanda ukuba clean, but bekudlala kungcola, so you will get that. So I remembered ukuthi angigezile, and I said ngiyazibuka ukuthi okay angigezile. So ngengqondo yengane I was thinking ukuthi I don't want them to realize ukuthi angigezile, because then ngizothiwa ngigeze and namukho umuntu usazobeka amanzi manje ngizogeziswa ngamanzi abandayo. So I was like just sitting there hoping ukuthi no one realizes ukuthi angigezile. But then ke mase siya kolala even though I was happy ukuthi ababonanga ukuthi angigezile, I was also disappointed ukuthi abangibonanga ukuthi angigezile, because as a child that meant no one is paid attention to the fact that angigezile, and bengisamncane ngaleso sikhathi. So ingenza ngabona, and I learned ukuthi okay, makugezwa you have to make sure ukuthi uyageza yourself, you are responsible for yourself, because if you don't, no one is going to know that ukuthi awugezile, you know. And the second instance was one day I was at bekukade ku-New Year, I think, and then sizoya komalume. It's like my mother's home, where my mother grew up, from my mother's house to her home, to her where my grandmother and grandfather used to live when they were alive. So sizoya there for the whole family. One of the best times was when the whole family is together like that. So we wake up ngakusasa on the first. It was the first, I don't know which year. And I was one of the first people who would bageze and get ready ukuthi siyahamba, you know. So I got ready and ngahlala kusofa, and then everyone else is getting ready, so ngahlala kusofa, because it was New Year's it was New Year's Eve the night before. We had slept late, ngazela ngalala kusofa, and then when I wake up mangithi ngiyabuka endlini, there's no one. It's quiet in endlini, there's no one here, and I go outside, akunamuntu, get toilet, get kitchen, there's no one. Mangibuka le komalume, because komalume we distant but you can see, uyakwazi ukuthi ubone khona. When I look there ngiyabona like kuyaphithizela and stuff, and ngiyabona ukuthi okay sebehambile. But as a child, I could not deal with the fact that no one woke me up to say, let's go. And I kept wondering, did they forget about me? I'm sure maybe they made a decision, because at that time, they safe, no one is going to come and hurt the child. They saw me sleeping and they decided, you know? But I couldn't deal with it. So now, because I was a child, I had no sense of time. So I want to go ngibalandele baye khona, ngiyasaba nokuhamba ngedwa, but I wanted to go ngibalandele baye khona. But then at the same time I'm thinking, angazi noma kade behambile noma they've just left. So to me it was like, angazi noma bangihamba ngizohlangana nabo sebebuya. I can't remember what's ngenze iphi decision as a child, but those two instances stuck with me, in a sense that it made me have feelings of being forgotten. It made me had feelings of, if you don't remember yourself, you know, you remember to take care of yourself, you have your own back. Angazi ukuthi ngayisho kanjani ngesiZulu, fanele uzinakekele wena, otherwise uzosala. So I grew up having those feelings of wanting to be independent, so I don't have to rely on other people. And I think after that visit, everyone just thought it was a joke, that they didn't think it was that serious, and I was so hurt as a child. So yeah, so those are the kinds of things that happened in my childhood that affected me emotionally, I guess. And amukho umuntu who was actively doing anything wrong to make me feel that way, but ilento engifuna ukuyisho ukuthi as umzali vele, kids are gonna go through things when you are doing the best to provide and do stuff, they go through their own things that you cannot control. So now and one of the things I would always say, yes, I wish I had the confidence that I had as a child, because all of those things made me very independent. You know, I make sure I'm clean for school. I remember one report card came back at school, standard 1, which is grade 3. A comment that the teacher had made was, no, meaning she's clean, because that's how much as I used to take care of myself and make sure it's clean and ready for school. And iskole, for me, when I started school, very early on I realized this is something for me, in a sense that bengihlakaniphile esikoleni, and back then bekusaphuma ngama numbers, position 1 was mine, like bekufanele ufight to get it from me. And position 2, I used to feel like ngathi ngifeilile when I get position 2 or position 3 esikoleni. So isikole, when I started school, I soon realized that wow, this is it was like finally I find something, because even if you did not pay attention to me during the year, but when it's time to come back with the report card, yeah, eyami report kuzokhulunywa ngayo, everyone in the family abavakashile bazobe bekhonjiswa report yami. U-aunt wethu othisha uzobuza ukuthi iphi report, because she used to ask, you know, aunt labo abawothisha. She would ask, "Uphi number one at the time?" And you know, my mom would make sure she sees the report. So for me, isikole was a rescue, and it made me have so much confidence in myself. And mangisasemncane, I thought I was perfect. I thought I was perfect in a sense that I thought I looked beautiful. I thought ukuthi ngimi kahle. I thought ukuthi my skin tone was nice. I thought my hair was nice. I thought my teeth was nice. You know, all of the things that young kids struggle with. Even my gray hair. I had gray hair while in primary school, as you can see. I have gray hair. I had gray hair in primary school, but I loved my gray hair. I never had a problem with my gray hair. So when I go to school, it just boosts my confidence. Even though I had certain struggles with a position in the family, and not to say there was anything wrong that was being done at home. It was just my experience with family. But when I was at school, I was very confident. But you feel like there are people in your life that chip away from your life, from your confidence, you know. And I had people, I never knew ukuthi ngimnyama. Well, I knew ukuthi ngimnyama, but I never knew ukuthi ngimnyama ngale ndlela ukuthi it will bother someone ukuthi ene ngimnyama. So but so many comments were made about me being the darkest ekhaya. Ama comparisons, obviously ngimnyama ekhaya, mind ukuthi sesiyasebenza manje sihlele ema-ofisini, so asashiswa ilanga ke, I'm like this, but I was dark. If you had to put us as siblings in the line from the lightest skin to the darkest, I would be right at the end. But it never used to bother me until people would make such comments to me. When we maybe having quarrels with other kids, but then you start thinking, well, there's something wrong with being dark. I never knew what's in the laba bangewona amaZulu umicondo, it's having small legs. I never knew ukuthi nginemicondo until people would say to me all the time, friends, family members. I never knew ukuthi ngineshwapha, ukuba neshwapha, having a flat bum. As if there's anything wrong. I never knew what I know, because people would just say it a lot to me. I have instances where umama would come, mhlawumbe uyivakashelela uma wami, they sitting in dining room, bayazixoxela umama, and then mhlawumbe I would pass the dining room, and then umama would make a comment with her, nalona owakho, you know, is this one also yours? Hey, akafani, akabanga ke muhle yena njengosisi bakhe, you know, she's not as beautiful as her sisters, or she's not, oh yena wavele wabamnyama, you know. Those are comments that were made. As much as a child you can have self-confidence, ungayivumeli lezo zinto zikuaffect, but every time umuntu omdala says something like that, even abantu olingana nabo, I once had umngani, someone very close to me, who used to make it a point ukuthi uncoma osisi bami all the time when manginaye. One day uzoncoma losisi wami, the other day uncoma losisi wami, but it will never be about me. It would always be about how beautiful my sisters are. Usisi wakho uthila ke vemuhle, usisi wakho uthila ke vemuhle, usisi wakho uthila ke vemuhle. Lona muhle kunani nonke muhle la. You know how we sometimes keep toxic people in our lives? Sibagcine nje, ungazi sibagcinelani, uvela umgcine umuntu. Being toxic. So, but yeah, I had those instances. But escolen, because I was doing so well, and othisha, one thing othisha that they're good at is that that does well academically, they recognize eskoleni vele, that's what the school is about. School is about. So when you do well at school, you are recognized, you are respected, you are bekwa as a prefect. Uthisha mayefuna ukuthi kwenziwe into uzobiza wena and here and so at school, and I was doing well. So I think that even though I was getting those negative messages, because even those messages were coming even in school and from other kids, but I was getting my confidence was being boosted. So my teenage was not that difficult. in a sense that vele benginaleyo benginesikole, and I had isikole futhi sikunika hope ukuthi okay, I have a future because ngithanda esikoleni, I'm doing okay. But what happened is that in my late teens, it was almost when I got to my late teens. Now sengisukile esikoleni sengiseva varsity is different. Mafike varsity first year uyafeyila, and you're trying to cope, you're trying to to adjust and all of that. It almost like everything that was said to me about my body and about the way that I looked, it just came back and settled, found a place in my life, whether emotionally, in my mind, in my body. And I started feeling all of those things. If I never felt with ngimnyama, I felt like the darkest all the time. If I never felt with ngumubi, I felt like ngumubi at the time. Those were my late teens when I was starting university. If I never felt with ngimigabi, at that time I felt with ngimigabi. So all of those things, even though they affected me as a child, but not as much as in my late teens. That's where they started to just settle. And that's why my 20s and early 30s for me were difficult in terms of self-confidence, and it's almost like it took longer for me to find who I am. So I say these things to say, as people, just as people, we have to be careful, not just ngey'ngane zethu that are around us, even ingane zosisibethu, ingane our neighbors' kids, our friends' kids. We have to be very careful about the things that we say to them, because it might not affect them today, but it's like you must imagine with every time you say something enganeni, it's like you take a sticker, like a sticker esinamatelayo, but it's a permanent sticker. Every time you say something to a child, it's like you're taking a sticker and you pasting it on a child, and it's like permanently there. And then every time you say something again, and then you're pasting it all over their body, and then one day they're just going to look down at their body, and all that they will see is all that has been said to them their whole life. So it's very important that we are careful about what we say to the kids. But as I grow older, then you start realizing that even to this day, like I know with my gray hair, people will point out my gray hair as if they feel like it should bother me. And I always tell people, there's nothing that doesn't bother me like my gray hair. There's nothing I love more than my gray hair. I've dyed my hair before, and people would think I'm dyeing my hair because I want to get rid. And I'm like, no, because even when I dyed my hair, even if I can dye my hair blonde right now, but the gray hair will remain. I love that about myself. I love my skin tone. I've never wanted to be light-skinned. So it's like me, as I grow, it's like I'm trying to get back to that child that thought she was perfect. And honestly, when I look at my photos as a child and I look at my photos as a teenager, like my high school photos, I'm like, I could have really felt like an ugly duckling, like, and I could have felt like that, but I didn't. I'm wondering why I wasn't feeling like that, because it's like I could say ukuthi ngangingemuhle in a way, but I felt like ngangimuhle. I felt like ngangimuhle, and had those things affected me back in high school, even performance would have been different back in high school. So yeah, so now I feel like it's just me getting back to that child that thought that she was perfect. It's like I love everything about myself. I might do things because I'm trying to lose weight, but it's more about it's like health reasons, because sometimes you just want to look and feel healthy. But I love that in my 40s, I love everything about myself. I don't look at, if I have a scar in my body, I don't look at it and want it to be gone as such, as in a young stress, young depression. No, when I look at my body, I love it. And I feel like we need to work on, as a society, we need to work on not destroying i-confidence that iy'ngane ezizalwa nabo, and instead siba-support, because it's like everything that we say to them will affect them. But also, please, parents that are old, have older kids that are done raising kids, forgive yourself for the mistakes that you made, and be kind to yourself. We all know that you did your best, and sometimes I have to do the same, even as I'm raising my kids, when I realize I've made a mistake and they're grown enough now to be able to say, Ma, I didn't like it when you did that, or I didn't like it when you said that. So for me to be able to say, you know what, okay, I made a mistake, okay, I won't do it next time, instead of beating myself up for something. So yeah, happy birthday to me. I hope that I can hear some of the stories from the people that watch my videos ukuthi nina nikhule kanjani, iziphi izinto ezini-affectile manisakhula. You know, what are the negative things that people said to you when you were growing up about the way that you looked? But how did that affect you? And does it still affect you now? Thank you so much for watching my video. You might get it later than 12 namhlanje, but it's my birthday today, so I'm forgiven. Thank you so much for watching my video. Ngimthanda kakhulu.